Welcome to Will It Build, the series where I take your builds from my YouTube comments and Discord server and put them to the test to see if they are the real deal. If it's solid, then I'll gift you 1,000 silver, and if it's really something special, you'll be featured in a dedicated build video for your submitted build. So comment yours below so we can answer the question, will it build? Welcome back to another episode of Will It Build, where not only do we have probably one of the fullest tower instances that has existed in the past 6 months, shout out to you if you're currently in this screen right here, but we also have a build that I'm extremely excited for, a PvE Mask of Bacchus build, which typically this mask is always used for PvP, but this build submitted by Golden Arrow and Disgruntled Technician, a little bit of a duo build submission, claims that this build is fairly simple. You're going to dodge to leave a decoy and gain a 4x weapon surge for stasis and arc. You can then use Withering Blades and Grapple to get Radiant, and if you have Legend of Acreus, you can proc Trench Barrel, and you're basically going to do a ridiculous amount of damage to anything that crosses your path. Looking at the build, we've got Mask of Bacchus starting out, like I said. While you have a stasis super equipped, your dodge becomes a longer range, faster moving shift that partially cloaks you during use. After shifting, your stasis and arc weapons deal increased damage for a short time. Specifically, that is a 4x surge damage bonus. If we look at our subclass, obviously we're going with Silence and Squall because Mask of Bacchus is going to require us to have a stasis super as noted in the exotic armor piece description. But the rest of our subclass is going to be going with Gambler's Dodge. We've got Withering Blade and Grapple, both of which, as noted in the build description, will be able to proc Radiant through one of our fragments, the Fast of Dawn, where powered melee hits against targets make us Radiant. That's obviously going to work with the Withering Blade throws, but it's also, supposedly, according to the build submission, going to work with the Grapple melee, as that supposedly counts as a powered melee, and thus will proc Fast of Dawn, give us that Radiant 25% damage bonus on top of the Mask of Bacchus damage bonus that we'll be getting as well. Another great reason we have Withering Blades as well is if we're looking at our aspects, we've got Winter's Shroud, which everyone knows allows you to slow nearby targets when dodging. But I think probably the more important thing of Winter's Shroud for this build is that slowing is going to briefly increase our class ability regeneration anytime we slow something. And that's not just with the Winter's Shroud dodge, it's also going to be with any other slow source, things like Withering Blades right here. So the idea with this build is that Mask of Bacchus wants us to use our dodge as much as humanly possible, and Winter's Shroud is going to allow us to get our dodge back significantly more quickly anytime we slow things from any slow source. So we want as many slow sources as possible. We got the dodge, we got the shurikens, and we're gonna have another slow source coming up soon. But before we talk about that, let's talk about our other aspect, Threaded Spectre. We're activating our class ability is going to leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter, and then of course as the decoy detonates, it is going to release a bunch of threadlings. That's just going to be probably an aggro soak and going to be adding a little bit more power to our dodge, so I'm perfectly fine with that. Moving down to our fragments, we've got the Facet of Ruin, which is going to increase the size and damage of the burst whenever we shatter a stasis crystal or a frozen target, presumably because we are going to be able to freeze targets with the Withering Blade, Silence and Squall, Winter's Shroud combo quite frequently. Also going with the Facet of Purpose, where anytime we pick up an Orb of Power, we're going to be getting Frost Armor, thanks to the fact that we have a stasis super on at the current moment. Facet of Dawn, we already went over that. That's going to be our Radiant source. Facet of Protection, since we're probably going to be pretty close range, going to give us a little bit increased damage resistance, always down with that one. Got the Facet of Command, we're freezing or suppressing a target. Pretty much freezing is going to be the only thing we're doing there. Is going to reload our equipped weapons and increase weapon stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness. Defeating a frozen or suppressed target creates a stasis shard or void breach. Not 100% sure how much mileage we're gonna get out of this one, so this is one that we might end up cycling out, in my opinion, for something else down the road, but we will see. Rounding things off, since we do have a 6th fragment slot with this build, since we have 2 aspects that give us 3 slots, is the Facet of Balance, where rapidly defeating targets with light damage is going to give us melee energy, and defeating targets with darkness damage is going to give us grenade energy. Coming out of here to take a peek at our weapon setup, the weapons that they recommended with this build were specifically the Legend of Acreus exotic shotgun, specifically because 1, it packs a huge punch, and 2, it is arc, which means it is going to benefit significantly from the buff that we're getting from Mask of Bacchus. They also recommended that we run a stasis weapon with chill clip, and the reason we really want to run a stasis weapon with chill clip is because that is going to give us another way to slow targets and therefore give us another way to activate the second part of Winter Shroud, which is going to significantly increase our class ability regen so we can get more mileage out of Bacchus and get more damage bonuses. You have a lot of options when it comes to chill clip weapons here. You can go with something like the Liturgy, which just came out this season, which is a chill clip grenade launcher. Stuff like the Riptide or Deliverance fusion rifles can have chill clip. You can get the Raid Sniper from Salvation's Edge, which has chill clip. If you play a decent bit of Iron Banner, the Iron Banner rocket sidearm can roll with chill clip if you are lucky enough to get that. Down in the energy slot, we have our primary ammo weapon, where you're definitely going to want to go with an arc weapon so you can take advantage of the Bacchus buff. Here I have the Seasonal Submachine Gun, which has jolting feedback on it, which is an incredible perk. Literally all you have to do is shoot things, which you're doing anyway, and it's going to apply jolt to them. Great for automatically stunning overload champions. Obviously we have overload SMG this season, so not that relevant in this particular season, but in future seasons, basically going to mean that this SMG can always stun overload champions, and jolt, just generally speaking, a nice damage buff. If you want to get this SMG with this exact role, if you head on into the season pass, I forget which tier it is specifically, but right here at 163, the Noxious Vetiver, this is a static roll from the season pass in tier 163. So if you have gotten enough XP to get up to tier 163, you can go ahead and just pull this from your season pass and use it right away. If you don't have that, really any arc energy weapon, primary ammo arc energy weapon will do. Kind of up to you in that regard. Rounding things out with mods, up on the helmets, we are rocking and rolling with a harmonic siphon in conjunction with either a heavy ammo finder or scout or a special ammo finder or scout. Honestly, in my opinion, I think you could go either way here on the ammo scouts. I would say if you're going with the rocket sidearm, if you do have the Tenacious, you probably want to go with the special ammo finder and scouts, since you'll probably be using it a whole lot. If you don't have the Tenacious, I think the heavy would probably get you a little bit more mileage, so you can have a little bit more Acreus action going on more frequently. Down on the gloves, they recommended a copy of Heavy-Handed so that our powered melee final blows are going to create auras of power in conjunction with an arc loader mod. Now, in this season in particular, you can run authorized mods melee on the artifact to reduce the cost of Heavy-Handed from 3 down to 1, which will allow you to run 2 copies of it if you would like, so that you can proc this orb of power generation effect every 5 seconds instead of 10 seconds. It's completely up to you if you want to do that. It's not going to make or break the build. Probably won't even be much of a difference anyway. Down on the chest piece, they recommended an Arc Reserves mod so we can have more ammo in the Legend of Acreus, a Stasis Reserves mod so that we can have more ammo up in our Stasis special weapon. In fact, you should actually probably go Harmonic Reserves instead. That's my bad there. And then a Resistance of your choice, or honestly, probably personally, I would probably go with Concussive Dampener here instead. It just kind of covers all bases. Most damage in Destiny is AoE for the most part. Down on the boots, they're recommending an Orbs of Restoration mod. We're picking up an Orb of Power grants a small amount of energy to our ability with the least energy, and Absolution, so we get ability energy on all of our abilities from an orb, and Recuperation, so we get HP every time we pick up an orb. I'm wondering if I would want to try to find room to get an Arc Scavenger in here to take advantage of getting more Legend of Acreus ammo from heavy ammo brick pickups, but we'll see as we get playing with the build. Finally, down the class item, we've got a Reaper, Powerful Attraction, and a Special Finisher so that we can make special ammo bricks on demand for our chill clip weapon. So I think a really fun place to test out this build would be by doing a solo run of the brand new exotic mission Kel's Fall, because I think a lot of people are going to be trying to do this mission, and I know a lot of people maybe, you know, typically prefer to play solo, and you know, frankly, it's kind of hard to find teammates in Destiny right now anyway. There's not a whole lot of people playing right now. So I think main idea is going to be we hit the dodge, smoke the Trickster with our Acreus. I probably should have gotten a melee in there as well to take advantage of Trench Barrel, so that, well, I could have done a lot more damage there, to be honest. Nice thing about this too is I think the idea is we can hit a dodge, and when we do our dodge, we'll make a clone. Oh, never mind. It's actually a very bad build. No one should use it. So I think the idea here is there's our chill clip right there, which should theoretically make our class ability come back a little bit more quickly. We can also throw our Shuriken to do a slow. And then with our dodge back up, we hit the dodge for our Threaded Spectre. Everything will be focused on our Threaded Spectre. And that gives us free reign to just run in with the Acreus and smoke whatever we're trying to smoke. I might be crazy, but I feel like I wasn't getting chill clip procs from the grenade launcher. You need to do a direct hit to apply chill clip on the GL. Ooh. I feel like that makes the GL not really the play then, to be completely honest. I think if that's the case, I think we would probably want to go with like the Riptide, for example, instead. What I am curious about is I know that with Bacchus, when you dodge, your dodge doesn't start its cooldown until your damage buff is gone. I was curious if activating the Winter Shroud slow will force the cooldown to start, but it doesn't look like it does. So the idea now is we hit a chill clip, dodge goes up, hit the dodge, boom, you're... Cool. You could use the overflow chill clip glaive as well. You're crazy if you think I'm using a glaive. My one concern so far is I wish I had like a little bit more HP regen. I feel like I'm a little squishy just because of how close range I want to be. I know it's not arc and it wouldn't align with Bacchus, but I feel like usually when you use your Bacchus, you're kind of prioritizing your special weapon and your heavy weapon for damage anyway. Okay, so let's see how quick we smoke this guy. There's our trench barrel. Yep, he's fried. And then we need to start hitting stuff with our chill clip so we get our dodge back super quickly. Then fly over here. Get another chill clip proc in so we get our dodge back. There's our dodge again. Okay, there's a big chunk of damage right there. And let's see what we can do here. Let's get a lot of damage going. I'm gonna open with a squall on him. And then we'll get our dodge. I need to get my melee for trench barrel. Ooh, I wasn't even looking at his HP bar. Okay, I'm picking up what's being put down. I'm starting to get it. This is like, okay, this is like the one-shot bosses build. Might want to switch your siphon mod since you're mostly using arc. That is a good point because I think if you had Tinashas, you would honestly probably be doing a lot of your ad clear with Tinashas because you can kind of use rocket sidearms, functionally speaking, as if they're primary ammo weapons just because their ammo economy is so good, especially if you had special ammo finders as well. But since I unfortunately don't have that, I am kind of just using my Riptide as like a slowing tool to get procs out of Winter's Shroud, whereas my general ad clear is coming a little bit more from my arc SMG. So I do think maybe it would be a good idea to sneak in an arc siphon because that's going to give us a little bit more survivability because it'll give us more orb generation, which will thus give us more procs of recuperation. The goal here is going to be basically one tap the Mindbender in all three of their phases. Dodge, French barrel, boom, boom, and he's gone. I'm probably being way too conservative with my dodge, to be honest. I'm trying to hold it just for like tanky targets that I want to DPS, but honestly I should probably just be using it whenever it's on cooldown, because with the Winter Shroud and Chill Clip I'm gonna be getting it back so fast, and it's like now this does a lot more damage. My SMG is going to do a lot more damage now. I proc Reaper out of it also, which is going to give me orb generation when I get a weapon final blow. I think I need to like have a small mindset shift on like, okay, if the dodge is up, use the dodge. Okay, so first things first, what I'm going to do here is pull up on these guys, hit him with the grapple melee, take the tangle, throw the tangle, dodge next to him, powered melee for Radiant plus Trench Barrel, and you're donezo. And then Chill Clip Fusion, so we proc Winter's Shroud. Want to make sure we're always reloading our Fusion as well, because Chill Clip is only going to proc on the top half of the mag. So reloading it after a couple shots, really huge. Actually, I guess it's not that important, because I think I realize now the entire purpose of the facet of command. It's so that when we blast stuff with Chill Clip, the enemy gets frozen, which reloads the weapon that we're holding that has Chill Clip on it, so that we always have a full mag, so all of our shots always proc Chill Clip. This is why even if something doesn't make sense to me, we always try to make sure we run the build with the setup that is recommended, because sometimes I'm just stupid and I don't realize why something's equipped. When you actually use the build, it's like ding, you're like, oh, I see why that happens now. Let's get a Silence and Squall out here real fast. I am gonna take out this ogre before I worry about the boss. And there, now that the ogre's done, boom. Yep, dude, I love the idea. This is going to be the real litmus test for this build for me, because this is by far the most annoying part of the mission, in my opinion. Always invis and immune. If I can one-shot the trickster. Alrighty. Yep, do your stuff. Do your invis stuff. Boom. That's pretty good damage. Okay. Time for final boss. Alrighty. We'll throw that down for like a little crowd control situation. Whoa. 3 shots and then we re-melee. Yeah, he's cooked. Wow. I'm noticing too that honestly, I probably could have had way better survivability with this build if I played a little bit more into heavy-handed and got more final blows with my shurikens and my grapple grenade. I feel like I wasn't using my abilities nearly enough. I feel like this is a build that is probably going to feel like a glass cannon at first, but the more you use it and the more you get a feel for your ability rotations and like when to use your shurikens, when to use your grapple, take advantage of your orb generation from heavy-handed, and as a result, take advantage of healing from recuperation. I feel like it's going to feel a lot tankier just as you kind of like get a little bit more used to like what your ability rotations like, similar to something like Omnioculus. Probably going to be a build that feels really, really solid when you first use it, just to the fact that it does so much damage, but it's going to feel like, I think mastering this build is probably going to make it feel exceptional. Especially, I don't know when Iron Banner's coming around next, but if you can get your hand on that Stasis Rocket Sidearm with Chill Clip, that's probably going to be really, really crazy with this build. January 14th is Iron Banner. Perfect. Then this video, frankly, is probably going to come out either on January 14th or maybe a couple days before. So will it build? Absolutely yes. Very unique take on Mask of Bacchus. I love the idea of like getting your dodge up 24/7 through the use of Winter Shroud. And with the Legend of Acrius, obviously this is called the Mask of Bacchus build, or the Legend of Bacchus build, rather, sorry. If you have a build that you think is unique and fun and exceptional as well, please be sure to submit it in the Willow Build channel in my Discord server, linked in the description below. And if you enjoyed this episode of Willow Build, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can catch the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.